Welcome to the J3 Collaboration Project. I am your host, Johnny Romero, and I have the pleasure and privilege of having with me today Tony Nicholson with Self Esteem Brands. Thanks for joining us today, Tony.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Johnny. Nice to see you.
Let's break the ice. Please share with us, what is your role with SEB? How many brands are under your oversight? And what does that look like?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Tony Nicholson, VP of Sales and Development for Self Esteem Brands. Been with the company now for 10 years full-time. Was prior with the company an additional 3 as a contractor. Also current franchisee with Anytime Fitness. I've been a franchisee for about 18 years with my wife. And so what we do here at Self Esteem Brands is we look to recruit franchisees and investors across the US and Canada for the 4 brands we franchise. We actually technically have 6 before we franchise. Anytime Fitness is now, it's the catalyst with 3,000 locations here in the US, 5,000 global. We are the largest fitness-based brand. And then we've got 3 other brands that we also franchise. We've got Wax in the City, which is a brand we acquired about 9 years ago. We've got The Bar Method, which is another brand that we acquired about 2.5 years ago with 100 locations. And then Basecamp Fitness. Basecamp Fitness is one of our newest brands. It's been around for about 8 years, but we just started franchising it in 2020. And so we're actively looking to recruit franchisees across the US. And then outside of the US and Canada, we do actually tap into a master franchisee model where investors buy in and they look to recruit, train, operate, support, and help markets with all of our brands across the globe. We do have 2 other brands that we don't franchise that supports our other brands. One is in the recovery space, notably physical therapy. And then we just acquired about 8 months ago an organization called Stronger You. So it is a platform where members can log their foods, get access to eating plans and regimens. Then even more importantly, they can tap into as a premium service registered dietitian. So those are brands we have. We're constantly looking to grow the model. Right now, as I mentioned, about 5,000 locations throughout all of our brands. At some point, we feel that our largest opportunity for growth will be globally. So, yeah. Thanks for having me, Johnny.
No, thank you for joining me, first of all. And congratulations on SEB approach and reaching that 20-year anniversary and landmark. That's impressive. A lot of responsibility under your oversight there. Now, I have a question for you. Why is diversity important to SEB, and how does that align with its mission statement?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So as a real quick baseline, Self Esteem Brands' mission statement is to, and it's a very broad and ambiguous mission statement. It is to improve the self-esteem of the world, right? Through fitness opportunities, being healthier, and then with our Wax in the City brand, just as a way to help folks feel better about themselves. So why is diversity and inclusion important to us? Well, so Self Esteem Brands is actually headquartered out of Minneapolis. And so if you recall, the last 2 years, Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota has been a hotbed for some very challenging issues, notably some issues with the police and with some challenges. So we felt as an organization that we wanted to be able to step in, do our part, and support diversity. And so after the unfortunate issue with George Floyd, we decided to lean into creating a council. And so the council was initially there to obviously try to do a few different things. We wanted to be able to connect with diverse individuals. We wanted to make sure that we were doing our parts. We wanted to basically let the world know that this happened in our backyard and that we wanted to make a stand because, it was one of those things where it was a watershed moment what happened here in Minneapolis, unfortunately. And so we wanted to stand. We wanted to make sure that we that we did something that was notable. And it wasn't just about doing something. It was about, kind of making a stand and then leaning into it and making progress. So it's very, very important to us. It's very important for us to be diverse, to include, for us to find ways to connect.
Excellent. Well, that's commendable and very inspirational of taking what is a very tragic moment as a positive turning point and taking action to really help in a positive way the community directly impacted, which is the underserved minority community, specifically the African American community. So well done and excellent mission. Along that train of thought, how has SEB uniquely positioned themselves to support those very same underrepresented franchisees?
Yeah, so I think that starting up our DE&I council was the first step, right? And just to be candid, one of the challenges that we initially had with starting up our council is that we knew that we wanted to make sure that our system with all of our franchisees was more diverse. But one of these challenges we had initially was, what does that mean? What does that mean to be diverse? And I think we kind of struggled. Does that mean people of color? Does that mean folks in the African American community? Does that mean folks with disabilities? All of those areas, certainly are diverse areas. But again, kind of going back to the reason why we started our council post George Floyd is that we knew that the African American community wasn't being represented, and so we started off saying, okay, let's say that diversity is a very broad scope, but then we also wanted to hone into specifically as it relates to the African American community, people of color, Black folks. And then as we started up the council, we said, okay, well, we need to now measure what is our current diversity within our system. So we started doing surveys within our system, chatting with our business coaches who are aligned with all of our franchisees. We're just now getting back some of the data. But our goal, and this is a pretty broad goal, but our goal is to, in the next 6 to 12 months, increase that percentage. Do we have a goal in mind? Not necessarily. Early on we kind of threw out numbers of 20 to 30%. But at some point the council is going to help us measure. It's going to help us set up some goals, and then obviously partnering with J3 has been a big thing for us as well. But these are some of the things that we're just now kind of leaning into, and it's not just recruiting people of color franchisees, but it's also hiring BIPOC individuals here at the corporate offices. It's also us looking to get into more diverse communities with all the brands that we franchise, so helping us serve those communities as well. But those are some of the steps we're doing today.
Excellent. I love it. So what would you say are the most common obstacles hindering minorities from realizing their dream of business ownership? And what is SEB doing to address them?
Yeah, it's great. Well, so I think that now again, so again, as you kind of take back a step and say, BIPOC, right? So as we work with different diverse individuals, again, kind of going back to the lowest represented group, it is the African American community out of all the other diverse groups we work with. So we wanted to be able to create some mentorship opportunities. We wanted to do some outreach. We wanted to have some community engagement. And so we had to be very specific with some of the partnerships that we're now getting in place. Obviously, connecting with you guys has been a step. Connecting with some Black business chambers has also been very, very important. Doing some other events throughout the year. But all these things that we're doing today are all an effort for us to just be more connected, be more deliberate with some of our
Right.
outreach. But it's definitely something that is important and that we're working on every day.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what would cause a diverse candidate to be interested in SEB?
Yeah, no, it's great. So I mean, I think it's really just a clear and defined path to success, right? So being able to carve out a path to realization, and so another thing that we've also seen is just connecting the dots from a financial standpoint. And so we've got some partnerships in place today with a few local resources here in Minneapolis that are helping us raise some funds, and then also maybe setting up some very specific BIPOC SBA opportunities. And then right now we're also in the process of looking to raise funds so we can sponsor some potential partnerships in the future and actual projects. So those are just a few things that we're working on today.
Would you please share a personal experience and success story that you're proud of?
Yeah. So, me, being a franchisee for the last 18 years within the brand, I've been here for quite a long time. And I think that, one of the things that I'm, personally proud of is that being able to come from not a lot of resources and almost being a good example of, making it and being successful. And I'm just, hoping that success can hopefully, translate to other individuals who are in my spot, they're in my shoes. And I just want to be able to mentor those folks as well.
Thank you so much, Tony. It has been a pleasure sharing this time with you. We look forward to our next conversation and the many other opportunities that are in store and announcements that are going to be forthcoming so that we can provide these opportunities to the underrepresented minority communities and allow them access to really make business ownership a reality for them. Thanks again for joining the J3 Collaboration Project. I am your host, Johnny Romero. Until next time.